One of the middle things on the top, right?
Oh, really? This?
Morning.
Hey, how do you say your last name, actually?
Hagen Baugh.
Hagen Baugh.
So,
Thank you.
yeah.
Got it. Appreciate it.
Yeah, it's all Joe. You don't say.
All right, and it's 11:30 here at the Rochester Curling Club. Ice is getting prepped over on Sheet B for the semifinals of the USA Mixed National Championships, brought to you by the 12th End Sports Network. I'm Chris Lindstrom, and joining me is Dean Gemmel from USA Curling.
Hey, Chris. Happy to be here.
And good morning. Hopefully you're having a decent morning.
Yeah, enjoying Rochester's finest coffee again. And,
Beautiful.
Looking forward to a matchup, a repeat of the matchup we saw last night.
Yeah, and that's it was a pretty interesting game last night. Team Jukic had control through pretty much the whole game, and they'll be starting in a couple minutes. It'll be interesting to see if we have a similar feel or things get switched up with the morning draw and bringing the semifinal pressure.
Yeah, I'm sure both teams will respond well to it. Jukic should start with a hammer here, so I think that's how it went last night as well, too, though.
Yeah, it did.
Jukic opened with a single in the first, had a chance to get three, just missed, but had a good first end, and I think on balance probably controlled most of the game last night, so Team Pulley will have to change that script, because even though the game was close, Jukic applied most of the pressure throughout.
Yeah, without a huge save shot by Caitlin Pulley in one of the ends, was against four.
Yeah,
would have been a much different score at the end.
Yeah, Caitlin drew the side of the button against four. Big intern draw that was the best shot of the night, really. But she probably is hoping she doesn't have to do that again this morning or this afternoon, whatever we're calling it.
Certainly would be preferable. And for everybody who's watching here on Sheet B, there's the other semifinal game going on Sheet D, which is next to us. That's Team Workin and
Team Brundage.
And Team Brundage. So it's not on the live stream, but we will be giving updates throughout the entire game. And if you have any questions throughout, you can hit us up on the YouTube comment stream. We'll have that up and available, so let us know. And we are getting started with Jason Scott's first stone over on Sheet B.
Yeah, Jason had a great game last night. Probably the best game on the sheet for his team. Certainly got rocks in good positions. Pulley was a little bit on the wrong side of the inch. They were challenged, I think, a few times by paths in the ice that maybe they didn't figure out as well as they should have. There's a good opening shot by Scott, though. Centerline guard goes up. Jukic goes around.
Nobody told me she wasn't throwing DSC this morning.
This is Sarah Lehman, who started the event at the third position, has gone to the lead position. Apparently, Sarah took a bit of a fall in one game, is battling a bit of an injury, so that's been that's the reason for the lineup shift. Sometimes when you have an injury like that, it might be more difficult to throw hits, especially upweight hits, so maybe that's the cause, but battling a bit of an injury, and last night Lexi Lanigan slid into the third position.
Yeah, and I'd say both of them had a quite good game throughout, and Sarah Lehman still is calling shots for Andy Jukic on the last shots.
Yeah,
as well.
She's in the house when Jukic throws. Jason Scott with his second stone.
Yeah, cleaning this one, looking real nice.
Yeah, it was a little shaky, a little wobble on his delivery, but a nice recovery and a good shot. So he starts pretty much the same way he played last night, so good for Jason Scott.
Absolutely. Yeah, and weather outside today, nice and cool. Should have a pretty phenomenal ice through the whole day today.
Yeah, the ice here at your home club, the Rochester Curling Club, has been great. Your head ice technician, Bob Williams, I had him on the phone with Sean Olson a few weeks ago, and we knew he was on top of it. And the only thing he had concerns about was the weather, because at this time of year here in Western New York, you can get some warm days. But we've been fortunate so far that the weather's been pretty good. And Bob and his crew have done a great job. Once again, we're grateful to the Rochester Curling Club for taking this event on in a year that's challenging for clubs to host, understandably, with a lot of clubs coming out of a year of COVID and trying to recapture revenue and membership.
Yeah,
So
it's very heartening. We have a lot of people out from our club to watch hometown team play, but a good contingent watching the other game, the Work and Brundage game as well. And like I mentioned earlier, we don't have cameras over on Sheet D where that game is, but we will give updates throughout. If you do put on the Sheet C stream, you may catch the side of it. So if that is your game of interest, you can pop that on a side window, and you may be able to catch a little bit of it from the edge of that broadcast.
yeah, a quick run through on the lineups over there. It's Evan Workin, Rachel Workin, Jordan Brown, and Christine Lammers against Jed Brundage, Isabella Hagenbaugh, and Cameron Rittenauer and May Hagenbaugh. So.
Yeah, and it's both teams have been playing quite well through the event. Workin ended up with only one loss, and Brundage coming in with 3, so Workin the number 1 seed coming into the semifinals.
Interesting, Brundage, Workin, and Rittenauer all played together at the men's Olympic trials, the team trials in Omaha in November. They finished runner-up at the national championships in Wausau last May. That got them their spot in the trials, where they had a rough week, but they did well to get there.
Absolutely, and I loved watching that nationals run. Really fun team to watch. And
I don't know if they had quite as much fun in Omaha, but I think they would admit to that.
Probably.
Cameron. And actually Lance Wheeler's behind us here too, played with them. He was here with the Colorado team, so he was at that Olympic trials as well.
Yeah.
Rebecca Andrew trying to throw this intern hit.
Yeah, I'd love to get a bit of a hit and roll to the center here if they can. And it is going to roll, but looks like that's going to... Oh, it looks like it hit a stone in the back and ended up really nice.
Yeah, it stuck around. I think this matchup was an interesting one last night. You have Rebecca Andrew against Ryan Mellinger, and last night I thought Mellinger played great. I thought Rebecca Andrew threw it really well. I was watching some of her throws were directly at us. Threw it really well. Maybe just got a little unlucky on some of the paths she was on. So we'll see how this unfolds in this game. Classic example of the great gender equity we have in our sport. We've got a female skip, Caitlin Pulley, taking on Andy Jukic. So.
Yeah, and I've played lots of games against Caitlin over the years. Rebecca, Jeff and Jason here at the club, and consistent players from top to bottom. So yeah, very interested to see if they tighten up a little bit today and see if they can give Team Jukic a tighter game.
Well, an opportunity to hit and lie two here.
Yeah, nice little spot for Jeff Pulley to hit one just outside the 4-foot and roll in. On it, trying to push. Big sweep.
Get to nose, which is perfectly fine. It does. Jukic will take on this hit and roll. He can hit it thin and maybe make the double, but I think he'll probably play it thick to try to roll in front of the red stone in the back of the 8-foot or back of the 4-foot. It's a little long, far away here, so we're trying to figure that out. It's just behind the tee line, actually, as I look at it on the monitor. Lexi Lanigan has won this event before, playing with Hunter Clausen, represented the United States with Hunter, his brother, Eli and Emily Anderson.
And a nice roll there.
There's the double. Hit it. Teed up the double for her, and Lexi Lanigan took advantage of it.
Yeah, beautiful throw. Pretty textbook on that one.
Still open for Jeff Pulley.
Yeah, it should be a pretty wide open hit. I'd say maybe edge to edge with the other blue stone in play.
It was like a controversy around playing it. So I didn't know why. I know Gucci was coming prior.
We're flirting with the guard now. He's trying to scrape by the guard and get
Just wicked it, but it did take it out.
Yeah, just rubbed the high blue stone. Second shot, rubbed it, but still removed the shot stone at the back. So not a great result for Jeff, but could have been worse.
Looks like it rubbed it right behind the center guard, too.
Yeah, it's a relatively short run back now, though, if he has an opportunity for it.
Yeah, and actually, almost slightly beneficial now that the run's there when it was offset. Is not that it was a huge offset, but this does make, if you bury something, it's kind of a straight run double now.
Yeah, and you could stuff your own behind the guard now if you make that run back. I think Andy Jukic is electing just to draw open.
I saw him with the lunch bowl, and I said, "Oh yeah, let's stream for the peanut butter cup."
Of course.
I said, "I told my kid."
Yeah, and based on what we talked about with the relatively short run back, I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I mean, you could certainly draw around as well, but
Well, it also gives the opportunity now, if Rochester does decide to draw underneath, that Jukic could play the run back, depending on where this one ends up.
we get it even. It could have also frozen to that back redstone, but it's even. I believe it's second shot.
Yeah, and if it is even and not touching the 8 foot, it kind of takes away that run back, because if you nose that would probably be coming second at this point.
Yeah, I think Caitlin is going to elect to hit the open one and try to roll under. If you miss the run back, you're bringing a 3 into play. So they would like to, even if they get out of this end with only giving up 2 at this point, they wouldn't be terribly unhappy, but a good roll can certainly solve this problem she's in. Interestingly, I think there is a possibility to dead jam it. That's with the roll. That's the challenge. So
yeah, with the angle, if you wanted to get the roll, it's going to be very tight to get it underneath the red stone in the back, and actually pretty natural to hit that one in the back corner.
I think you almost have to play it thin and play for the double, and then you I think it would go over the top if you did that, but she's settling in, and key thing here is make sure you remove 1. Not on it early.
No, cleaning.
Right off.
And,
still watching it all the way down, and I'm afraid that is... Caitlin's not happy with herself. She either fooled a bit on the ice or set that back just a bit, but they didn't touch it as soon as she released it. So opportunity here for Jukic now. He's got an opportunity to lie 3.
And it looks like this will be the... I didn't see what the call was. Are they calling underneath the one they were just trying to throw?
They are going to go around, I believe. This will leave Caitlin with a decision to make, how aggressive she wants to be or how much risk she wants to take on. She could try to run back and try to stuff it right underneath. I'm not sure, though, if she makes that, it would be second shot at least.
Yep.
But depending on where this one is, I'm sure she's going to want to play some kind of hit instead of a freeze against giving up 4.
Yeah, and they're on this one for depth right now.
Really working it for Wade here. Looks like he's going to be onto the top one.
And the question...
Queued up a double with the run back.
Yeah, and it's a little bit hard.
Caitlin hasn't really looked at it too much, but in my mind, it might be an easier shot than
And it does look like they are sitting, I think they're sitting 3 now, right?
Yeah, I think it's 3. It's hard to tell quite from here, but I believe it's 3. Looks like Caitlin's going to take on the draw behind that stagger, draw around the works. Big shot here if she does that.
And that is definitely sitting 3. And now with that stagger, there won't be any huge ability to get to the stone if you do bury it into the 4
Yeah,
foot.
she doesn't even have to be in the 4 as long as she's buried behind those. Even if she's second shot in the back of the 8 foot, she wouldn't be unhappy if it's buried. Key here is to bury it, and it's certainly going to be tough to remove. Be interesting to see if it is buried, if Jukic tries to take on something like that angle run to try to score 3 here early. If he's, instead of being forced to single, it looks like Caitlin's going to go down and have another look at this. They're a little nervous about this. This is not really the shot you want to throw in the first end.
No, and thankfully just saw Andy Jukic throw it, so at least have, hopefully have a decent idea on the speed on that line after practice and after that.
I think what they're talking about with that run is that there's a couple ways you can hit it and still get rid of 2. This is actually, to me, maybe the toughest shot on the sheet, though, this hit and roll. It's really easy to jam it.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, because the other one would be the run just on the outturn side and trying to double the top 2 out.
I think the 2 go easily if you make that run. They're queued up to go. This, though, you have to make a perfect hit and roll, and you bring a 4 into play here. If you don't make the hit and roll perfect,
and if you roll out, it's almost definitely a 3.
There's a natural jam there that you have to get out of your mind in the hack, that's for sure, to give this rock a chance. See if she can throw it with conviction.
Yeah, big shot by Caitlin Pulley here in the first with Jukic sitting 3.
Now they're on it a bit. Rebecca Andrew trying to hold this one now. How close is it?
On it all the way. And
knows it. But so it leaves a draw for 3 for Andy Jukic. So didn't get the roll. They didn't jam it. I think the roll jammed probably, but if you get the perfect roll, you wouldn't have cared about it. But Jukic will have a draw. He's looking to see if he can come to the top one. I don't think he can. So Jukic with a draw for 3 here in the first end. He had a chance for 3 in the first end last night, and was a bit heavy as he tried to move one at the back by about a couple of inches.
Yeah, and there were a couple opportunities last night that really could have broken that game out. That was one of them.
Blank end in the first end between Workin and Brundage. Jukic with the draw on the way.
Same path thrown with this first. Just need to catch any piece of the 8 foot. Cleaning. And looks like they feel real good about it.
So there it is, 3 on the board for Jukic to get things as they get things underway with last rock in the first.
Absolutely, real nice end by Jukic all around, and a little bit of a struggle after the lead stones to get things set up for Team New York and Team Pulley. So we'll see what happens in the second end. We'll do a little audio commentary over here on sheet D in the second end, as Dean mentioned, is a blank in the first. So nice classic setup right now. Looks like corner guards for Workin and center and top 8 for Brundage.
Cameron Rittenauer was trying to choke off one of those corner guards and rubbed on his own centerline guard. In our game that viewers can see, we're going to get started here with Sarah Lehman. Throwing lead stones in this game. Looks like Andy Jukic just asked for it in the top of the 4 foot.
Yeah, and up 3. You obviously would love a force here.
Yeah, up 3, that's the call.
Yeah, seem to be continuing their positive momentum from last night with the way they played the first end. Whole team was pretty solid all the way through.
Looks like they left that one a little bit, though. They were off it, and then it's finished in the top of the 12-foot, which is not ideal. You want to make that one top 8 at least, and probably top 4. Sweepers with a bit of an error there.
Now, with the corner guard going up for Rochester and that stone in the top 12, is that the time where you'd be thinking tapping that back to the T line?
Well, yeah, that's the problem with leaving it in the top 12. If it's in the top 4 and the corner guard goes up, you're guarding one in the top 4. Now you're not sure, you're not thrilled about guarding a rock in the top of the 12-foot. Andy's going to use that as a guard itself. The way this ice curls, you can get behind it. But, of course, it's in the rings, so that means that Caitlin Pulley could also make a play on it if she wants to. But the tap is tough because you have to. The line can be challenging. So that's the problem, though. With it's a sweeper error on that first one. You need to make that one good.
Looks like this one is a little bit heavy.
Sweepers don't want to go, but it's tight for line, I think.
So they're probably pivoting to that tap.
Yeah.
And it looks like it's going to be real close to the nose. And they will tap it to the top 4.
And Caitlin Pulley will ask Jason Scott to hit and roll to the wing.
Well, as we're getting set up here in the second end, how many more events are left for USA Curling through the end of the season, Dean?
Well, we have we'll wrap this one up today with a championship presentation after the 7 o'clock final, and then we have our U21 Junior Nationals taking place in Stevens Point, Wisconsin.
Beautiful.
That's April 23rd to the 30th. That's been an interesting one. We had a qualifying process in place. Great shot there by Jason Scott. Great Scott. That's a good shot. But so yeah, we had to.
Thank you, Doc Gemmel.
Yeah, thanks to Omicron, we had to adjust our qualifying procedure and it made it just a sign up and go event, the Junior Nationals. So we have 12 men's teams and 10 women's teams competing at that event. So thanks there to Stevens Point for taking it on. It's a big task, but should be a great event. Sean Olson, our USA Curling Ice Tech, is going to be out there at that. And then in May 12th to 15th, we have the inaugural USA Curling 5 and Under Nationals. The first time it's been on our official championship calendar. It's been held before, but this is the first time it's part of our official championship calendar. And we have 24 teams competing at that.
That's amazing.
That's 4 pools of 6, and those teams have earned their spots through qualifier spiels held this year, with a few teams getting in from spiels that were held right before COVID shut the world down. So next year it will be straight qualifying spiels, we hope, with COVID behind us. We hope COVID is behind us, of course.
Absolutely.
But yeah, so it's excited about that. And it's been fun to hear from the 5 and Under curlers are excited about it. John Schuster, I should add, has been integral in that event.
Yeah, it seems like he's been championing that, and I think it's great to finish off the season with some championships for the young curlers of the U.S. and trying to keep that momentum going into next season.
Yeah, John's a big believer in it. He was involved in the previous iteration of it, and I reached out to him when we started this. Matt Gamboa out in Los Angeles, of course, another guy was very involved. Brett Jackson, who curled here this week, he was involved in the previous iteration of the event. So, our goal is to give it a real championship feel. Like it's a big field, but it's 6 sheets of ice in Los Angeles. So, it's going to it will be a lot of fun and also a competitive event. Teams want to win this thing, and I'm glad they do.
That's fantastic. Yeah, and catch everybody up with the action going on here on Sheet B. Looks like Team Jukic just took out the stone in the top 8 from Team Pulley and is now sitting 2 on kind of a double position or hit and roll behind the guard, which is what Caitlin Pulley is calling for Rebecca Andrew.
Definitely an opportunity here for Pulley based on Jason Scott's second shot. Great roll right to be a biter on the 12-foot behind the corner guard, behind a wide corner guard.
Yeah, that biter on the corner, it's seems like they've been catching the wrong inch on some of those and rolling out, and catching the corners, exactly what you want to do there.
They're trying to hit and roll behind the corner again. I almost would prefer to hit and roll over in the direction of the other Jukic stone, which is what they might end up doing.
Yeah, caught it a little bit thick and ended up on the center line.
There's a natural double here, or roll. It does present maybe a jam possibility, though. So Jukic could also just elect to nose hit here again.
Yeah, looks like he's calling a high side nose, maybe a little drift towards the corner.
This is one where, as a thrower, you need to make sure you're with a 3-0 lead. You might throw this a little more on the conservative side to make sure you don't have a jam.
Yeah,
now they're sweeping it for line, which maybe Lexi overdid it, but it's going to be a nose hit, I think. Oh, small roll.
Drift. Makes the roll for Jeff Poley a little bit shorter. Only need to roll a foot or so.
Trouble with the roll behind the corner is it's tough to roll and get stay in the rings, and also tough to roll and not leave a fairly routine double over there.
Yeah, and with the guard as wide as it is, it's sitting pretty flush on the stone that's in the house. Regardless of where you roll, unless you get underneath, it's going to be open and maybe create a double scenario.
I think what might be driving this is they're eager to get this 3 right back, but they could also get a 2 here and be in pretty good shape. I mean, I'd rather play that roll anyways, but now, though, there is this same shot for Jukic. Yeah, I like rolling that way anyways.
Yeah, pretty much the same position as well.
If you roll in front of that blue stone belonging to Jukic, forces the Jukic team to make a decision. They're probably going to just try to slash it out. And then then you still have a chance for 3 because you can go behind the corner guard.
Yeah, and at that point you're drawing, so you can get to a better position.
Yeah.
So on this one for line, trying to hold it, looks like this is going to be really close to nose, and pretty much roll to the same spot we had before. Repeats back to back.
I'd love to see if they reconsider here. There you go.
And they are.
If they I think that's the better call. Doubtful. I mean, you can't get it welded, but you can put it into a. Well, maybe they've switched back to the roll behind the corner guard. This is a tough shot. I mean, you can make a relatively simple shot here and put yourself in a good spot to get 2 and possibly 3. This shot's harder.
Yeah.
Jason Scott's on it early.
Yeah, on it hard for line. He's digging all the way down on this one. And it looks like they are going to get at least a little bit of a roll, but just a little bit. And now that this is raised up, so now the double line is much more natural going to the outside.
Yeah, I think Andy Jukic thinks that he's looking at it. It looks like it go still natural jam, but I think if you make the double perfect, it probably goes over the top of your own of the Jukic stone in the 8-foot, or you might just clip that as well.
Well, and leaving that one, it's if they do wreck, it does open up that 2 again, but still taking it on. Looks to be, I would assume, pretty crisp weight going down this line.
Yeah, he's throw this hard, take some of the possibilities of jams out of play, but out-turn hit on the way. It's pretty thin.
And waiting to see the line on
early,
this one.
and now they're off it. And there it is.
And a beautiful shot by
Goes
Andy
easily.
Jukic.
That was always the problem with leaving those stones there instead of rolling to the open side.
Yeah, pretty textbook on that one. Now just a decision about which stone they want to freeze to with this next shot. Looks like they're going to try to freeze to the open stone in the 8-foot and try to set shot.
Yeah, and now, unfortunately for Caitlin, she's forced into making a difficult shot.
And you really do have to sit on the inside corner of this. If you're sitting on the nose, you will definitely not be shot. So you have to be on the corner unless you're hoping to hit some sort of double with that stone after. And score update over on Sheet D. It does look like Team Workin took 1 in the second after blanking the first. So Team Brundage will have the hammer in the third end, down 1.
Caitlin Pulley trying to freeze here with her first in the second end.
Yeah, and waiting for this one to curl right now.
Looks like they're waiting for it to curl, but I think they're going to have to go for weight.
Yeah, and it looks like this one is going to be wide open on the top of the forefoot. So a pretty routine hit for Andy Jukic here. I think you would love to nose this and then really tightens up the draw. I'm not sure you can hit and be shot at that point.
Yeah, you can nose. You can also roll to the other side and force Caitlin Pulley to make a draw full 4 with no backing. Nose is okay, though, that's for sure. Nose does make the draw tricky.
Yep, makes it so you have to get get forefoot. Only on
comfortable
one path.
Position, though, for Jukic.
And looks like they are just adjusting a little bit, but looks like a really nice shot by Andy Jukic to sit one right at the top of the forefoot.
It looks as though Caitlin thinks she can nose that and be shot. It's pretty close. I think she can do that.
Well, I think the other way, the other way, if you catch it on the catch this on the high side, you'll double those real easy. It's very natural.
Well, it's pretty thin double. You certainly wouldn't want to try to throw it thinking you're going to do that. It'd be pretty easy to go over the top of that one. It's natural, but I think she has to focus on making the shot she's called here. She does have a bit of room over there, but
yeah, matter if it looks like nose will get shot there.
Yeah. Just looking here, Andy Jukic played in this event 3 years in a row, 2011 through 2013. But this is his first trip back since those.
And on for line a little bit. Looks like it is real close.
Going to stick around for 1, so that's 1 for Pulley.
And got a 1 for Pulley, so now it is 3-1. Team Jukic with a hammer in the third end.
Oh yeah, we can get it for me. Oh, we got some. Yeah, remember
Well, it looks like teams are breaking up after their in-between end discussions. You played in a lot of competitive games, Dean. What are the kind of conversations you're having in those in-between end discussions for the end coming up typically?
Well, they're pretty easy on my teams because we never had them. So that made it a little more routine. I think it depends what your team's like. Sometimes you need that in between. Some teams do it absolutely every end. You'll see lots of different formulas. I think it works. Depends what you need, right? I played on some teams where we didn't really want to talk to each other in between ends, especially if the end had not gone well. So we were better served by probably not talking. But I think generally you're trying to. Most teams will discuss how they're going to approach the next end, whether they're what they're hoping to do, maybe where they're going to try to put the first few stones at the end, and all come to an agreement on that. A lot of that should be sort of standard, too. If you play with a team long enough, you should have systems in place. But here's an example. Andy Jukic, the center line guard goes up from Jason Scott. Just real tight one. And Andy is electing to draw to the back 8 on the wing, which is a smart defensive call when you're nursing a 3-1 lead here in the third end of an 8-end game.
Yeah, it's also one, I personally like to play a lot, especially if, at the club level, if you have a team that maybe doesn't love to hit and keep stones in play, and gives you an opportunity to maybe grab an extra point at the end.
Looks like that will slip deep, though. So now Caitlin Pulley has an opportunity to guard that tight guard, and then I think you'll see Andy Jukic probably play around, but may not.
Man, Jason Scott coming out with his second here in the third end.
Two good closed rushers, Rebecca Andrew and Jeff Pulley, both with their Rebecca with the left hand low, Jeff with the right hand low. Good technique.
So, talk about the advantages of that style brushing versus the open style.
Yeah, there's schools of thought on it. There's some people who prefer the open. Most studies show you can get more pressure on the brush head in the closed position. You can get to the flat back, and what I like about it, you get the flat back, you get the bigger muscles in your back and your legs involved, versus when you're in the open style, you're going to end up brushing a little more with your shoulders and arms. But you'll see the top teams. Most of the top teams, all the top teams, I think, won't change their low hand. So they won't change their low hand just to brush closed or open. They will brush. If there's two left-handed brushers, for instance, one will be brushing open. That's what you typically see with the Harndens and Team Jacobs.
Okay.
So, I think you need to be able to do both, obviously, because depending on who you're playing with, you might have to do both. But the preference, at least my preference, is to have closed brushers. And it's not. There's a good study done up at Wilfrid Laurier University in Kitchener where they studied it, and maximum pressure was generated from closed. But doesn't mean you can't be a really good open brusher either. Some people like open more because they feel like they get a better sense of weight. I've never felt that way, but if somebody does, it's certainly important. Rebecca Andrew now, she's going to try to wrap one around here.
Looks like this one's real close to the guard, and it is going to bounce off. A little bit of a missed opportunity there to get behind cover.
So last night, Rebecca had stones that weren't curling as much as they expected, so that one over curled. I think we'll see Ryan Mellinger here asked to throw some big weight.
Yeah, it looks like the call is going to be to.
Well, I guess he's just going to hit and roll, and he can hit and roll on and lie too. They're debating whether they want to get rid of a guard. Maybe a little early in the end to just start slashing everything. So I don't mind this in the game. I don't mind this shot. Sometimes when you score 3 in the first and then you give one back, you can mistakenly in your head think you're well ahead.
Yeah,
and you have a comfortable lead, but it's not yet time, I think, to slash everything.
Yeah, it's not a high security point of the game in the third end.
Not yet. You're certainly comfortable and happy to be in the position you're in. What you don't want to do is that, though, and just tickle this stone you were trying to hit.
And gives Rebecca Andrew a chance to take this shot. They're going to look at the other turn on this. They're going to go in turn and try to sink one underneath these staggered guards from the intern side.
A little wider, so wider path. They're probably expecting it to be a touch heavier. It should finish pretty nice going this wide. Rebecca's indicated she thinks it's heavy, but I think the weight should come off it. The brushers don't seem to like it.
Yeah, it hasn't been much down that path yet.
Now it's a question of can they work it over and still keep it above the tee line, which now it's coming over.
Yeah, and Jason Scott going for the nice finish sweep, and that's a real nice shot from Rebecca Andrew.
Andy Jukic still thinks he can make a play on it. I think his teammates are talking him into this run back, slash. You could probably get all the red stones moving.
Yeah, it looks like you can. The angles are definitely there for it. And even if you just take out the top two, obviously it's still a very positive shot. So a big weight coming from Ryan Mellinger.
Nothing so far. They're hoping it curls, I guess. It's close. Oh, and there it is. There's this great double peel. Doesn't move the one in the back, but mission accomplished with that double peel.
And definitely rolls it far to the corner as well. Didn't want to leave anything out front. Really nice shot by Ryan Mellinger right there. So now back to standard throwing guard for Jeff Pulley with his first shot in the end. And at this point, I'd imagine Jukic is waiting to see if there's a guard placed in the wrong spot, leaving probably going to peel the next couple guards that pop up, and then hoping to maybe grab a blank out of this.
Well, I think this one has ended up over curled and high, so Jukic can definitely get to the shot stone. So a bit of a miscue there from Jeff Pulley. On ice that's moves swinging this much, curling this much, on those kind of guards, you have to make sure you throw lots of rotation, be positive with it. It's always better if you're sweeping to get it to finish than hoping it dies.
Well, they're taking a look at things right now. A little bit of pre-shot discussion on this one. And it looks like they're just going to go for the straight peel. A little bit safer shot if you don't get the roll the right way.
Well, yeah, I think though the conversation you need to have is you might have, if you do try to dig this one out, it might be your best chance to get it. So that's why a lot of people would try to make a play on it.
On it for line, and a nice shot by Lexi Lanigan to hit and roll that out of play.
So the peel's made, and now Jeff Pulley will try to make this guard a little better than his last one. Got Jed Brundage over on sheet D, has a quiet weight hit for 2 after Evan Workin made a really nice roll behind cover.
Yeah, they're trying to push that one over on sheet D. Looks like it's going to be just a little heavy. And,
did not move enough for Brundage over there. It was a real end-saving shot by Evan Workin to get the hit and roll. Brundage was set up for 2. This looks like a better guard from Jeff Pulley.
Yeah, it looks like that one's lined up pretty line to line. So kind of the concern you brought up with the with peeling the top shot.
Well, I mean, I think now the reality is, too, though, is it's tight enough that Andy Jukic is hoping Lexi Lanigan might be able to make this double. If she doesn't get the double, it's a peel. Must be close.
Yeah, they stopped sweeping. And, just a little tight inch off. And
looks like a fall from Andy Jukic. I don't mean to laugh.
No, that's a little bit of a pride fall there.
Yeah, he seems to be 100% okay. He's a big guy, so they got to make sure the ice is okay underneath him. I think it is. But yeah, so now it's a question of, can Caitlin Pulley throw a couple good guards, and I'm sure Andy will try take a crack at a run back on at least maybe his first one if it's tight like that last one was. Try to play that double.
Yeah, so Pulley sitting one down 3-1 right now, trying to guard and see if they can grab at least a force out of this.
Early indication is that it's not light, but now it looks as though Jason Scott is rushing it to 4 weight. Now it's starting to come down. Looks a little strong, though.
Yeah, it
might
looks
be
like
a decision
it's
time here, if whether they want to just try to freeze it.
And it's going to over curl as well.
That's going to leave a fairly easy double for Andy Jukic to get out of this.
Yeah, so
and
just calling for the hit right on the nose. Nothing fancy.
well, the main objective: make the double, and the stick your shooter.
Yeah, from here it doesn't look like you can you could really grab much roll to the outside on that.
Yeah, and you don't really need to. So you're perfectly happy here with a blank. And you're relieved that the opportunity for a steal is pretty much gone. If this shot's made, Jukic, the intern, trying for the double.
On it all the way down, yeah. And made real nice. A little bit of roll to the center. Great shot there by Andy Jukic with the routine double.
So Caitlin Pulley could hit and roll and at least get a force here. She can hit and roll behind those two blue corner guards and with the red one up higher. I think that would force Andy Jukic to draw for a single point. Otherwise, if it's at all open, I'm sure Andy will take a run at the blank and would love to carry last rock into 4, 6, and 8, especially with a 3-1 lead.
Yeah, and usually when we're watching 10-end games, they talk about it early in the game, but it's really once you start getting into the, 4 and on, kind of focus on getting the hammer and the even ends going out.
Well, when you get down to those latter ends, you start to think, well, we'll have 3 hammers to their 2 if things go as planned. So that's certainly advantageous. I think sometimes people can overthink the even end concept, but in this scenario, it's certainly 4, 6, and 8 is pretty comfortable. This looks like they're...
Yeah, it looks like they're a little
close.
on off, pushing straight.
I think they audible to try to maybe roll the other way, but now we'll see Jukic try to blank this end, hit and roll out. Important shot, actually. Certainly taking one, you're up 4-1, playing 4, but up 3-1 with last rock, playing the 4th. I'm sure that's the scenario he'd prefer.
And give you a chance to, try to grab a 2 and go up big going into the 4th end break.
Peel White blank, here we go. Intern, he just sort of threw this, so it's comfortable. They're off it early, though. Uh-oh.
Ooh, and that one is gone. So this is going to be a bit of an odd steal for Team Pulley here.
The steal slips out of the bag for Team Pulley. Those are the ones you get those. Certainly, skips go down to throw that blank, and they sometimes get a little aggressive with it and not wanting to nose hit, and you get that. So
yeah, it's going to be 3-2 Team Jukic going into the 4th end. Jukic with the hammer. So a little bit of a heartbreaker on that one. So going to come into this end with the only up 1 and trying to recover and grab a little momentum back going into the 5th. Yeah, and over here on sheet D, Team Brundage and Team Workin just had a big clear shot over with was Jason Brown, right?
Jordan Brown just made the double peel, so now it's relatively open house. Brundage does have last rock here in this 4th end that they're playing. They're a little quicker. This game's moving along a little faster. But yeah, Workin's team has won this event before, the same lineup. They've won it in the past, recently. So certainly know what it takes.
Yeah, and it looks like they're up to nothing right now, and about halfway through this end.
Still, the Brundage team's making lots of shots. They certainly had a chance to score 2 in the last end. Jed just might have overthrown his last one a bit, or I think more likely was a little fooled by the ice. But things are back underway. Jason Scott, who puts up yet another centerline guard.
Yep, right on point, right where it was called. Looks like Jason's having a very good event so far.
So now, as opposed to the last end, Andy Jukic will go around this.
Yeah, not quite as tight as some of the guards we have seen from Jason on his first. So that's a tight 2 guard, and plenty of room to go around and put some gap in there.
And it's slightly off the center line, so that is a benefit to the Jukic rink. But I think now it's a 3-2 game. Now you're in it. So if you're Team Pulley, you'd be pretty happy with a force here, even after that steal.
Yeah.
And if you go to the break down 2 with hammer and 5.
Yeah, I think the biggest difference after that steal is that, a force now it's a lot easier to manage getting a 2 when you have to get one versus a 3. Those always take a couple breaks to get there.
Although we can see with the 5 rock rule, you can get a 3 with just one miss. So
yeah, it does change the game a
levels.
lot.
Yeah, it has. It's been I think we always in curling have to keep looking at adjusting the rules. I'm not saying I loved every rule proposal in the last round of World Curling Federation rule change proposals, but I did like the no tick, and I think what happens is our players are getting better and better. Our ice conditions are getting better and better, so we need to make some adjustments to keep it interesting for people to watch.
Yeah, it seems like the most contentious of those new rule possibilities they were talking about was timing each end individually instead of the whole game as a concept.
Yeah, I don't love that idea myself, and they tried it at a Canada Cup and at some Grand Slams with not exactly great results. So
yeah, the feedback from the teams was pretty universally not positive.
I think we have a game that, with the thinking time we have, the game moves along pretty briskly. So I don't really see a reason to make every end a battle against the clock. But nonetheless, I'm always open to people. I'm always happy when people consider new ideas. People say, other sports don't mess with the rules, but NFL football changes the rules just about every year in some way.
Yeah, and
Major League Baseball has raised and lowered the mound over the years.
Yeah, and they're looking at a lot of new changes in all those sports, basketball and baseball. So need to evolve with the times and keep the game fresh for everybody.
Rebecca Andrew trying to lock one on here.
Line's looking nice, but going to come up
nice,
a little
just
short.
a little short, but on the pro side. It's exposed enough, though, that Andy Jukic can hit and roll a little bit under. He'll ask Ryan Mellinger to do that.
A nice delicate weight hit. Catches just down the inside and roll to the center. Just talking about this shot for a second here. Reconsidering, and it looks like they're going to call
the original shot.
Yeah, it does. I think they were talking about maybe drawing behind that.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised they're playing this with the intern, but
pretty small window there.
Yeah, I can't see it exactly from here, but it looks more natural with the out. But with the out, you have to make sure that you cross it or you could jam it. This is on that guard right now, though, but it's coming off.
Pushing it over, and it'll just get by.
Great shot. And he's going to stick around, I think, if it gets a little bit of that spin. Yeah, there it is. It's going to spin back to lie 2. Jukic, great shot by Ryan Mellinger there.
Yeah, really great spot.
Scraped by the guard. Saves the shooter.
Now the little hit and roll behind the guard. Set top 8 if Rebecca Andrew can make this one.
Challenge for Team Pulley now is they only have a single guard up, and they're facing 2 in the rings.
Yeah, the guard's tight enough where it's hard to get huge curl underneath with weight, but there's access, and this is going to roll the wrong way to the open side of the 8-foot.
Jukic quite happy here to hit, nose hit, lie 2, well spaced.
Yeah, full split house on that.
Pulley will have a decision here. They can keep trying to roll over and group these stones for a possible double at some point, or they could be aggressive and draw early around the centerline guard and try to force play to the center.
Yeah, position's going to have to be perfect because at that point, any missteps, you might end up giving up a 3 here.
Yeah, but giving up a 2 is problematic. So we'll see what Caitlin considers here. It looks like she's going to play this hit. She thinks she can hit and roll, but, the roll is... These long hit and rolls are tough shots.
Yeah, we've got a 4-foot roll here to get underneath the guard.
Probably the... One thing, if you play the draw, it doesn't even have to be perfect yet, as long as it's fully buried. It could be deep at this point and wouldn't be the end of the world.
But they really want to get the roll the right distance. They want to roll that whole way underneath the guard.
Well, they have to roll this perfect. They're working it hard for line, so I think if anything, it's going to come up to nose. Which it does.
It does, yeah. Yeah, and I forget where I saw the proposal, Dean. I know with the World Championships coming down to last shot draw as the tiebreaker, I saw some discussion around hit and rolls being part of that as a skill set.
Yeah, I mean, there's certainly, certainly the kitchen sink being thrown at some of these things, but yeah, I mean, we saw teams eliminated at the Olympics with on last shot draw. The challenge, of course, is trying to schedule tiebreakers. Is just not something that events want to do. There's a bit of a break for Team Pulley, though, as Lexi Lanigan hits and rolls out.
Yeah, now goes back to that same decision. It's a little, you're not risking a 3 at this point by drawing underneath, but it looks like they're going to go ahead and play the hit and roll on the one in the far 12-foot.
Well, after some discussion, they
Yeah.
decided to try to wrap this out-turn draw in.
They were talking about it. It's a little bit challenging. I don't think they've thrown any hits that way, and it would be a pretty wide on the sheet.
Well, it'd be, pretty easy to hit and roll out there, and then Jukic has a chance to duck around this guard and
Looks like
apply the pressure.
Yeah, it looks like over here at the in the fourth end, Team Workin stealing a second end in a row to go up 3-0 into the fourth end break.
Yeah, Jed Brundage is trying to hit and stick with his last one, hit and rolled out. I saw Team Workin make about 4 or 5, not super long run backs, but not easy ones, 4 or 5 run backs throughout that end.
And the line's looking beautiful here, but it looks like it's going to come up short with Jeff Pulley's shot.
Might have gotten edge to edge, but at best it's edge to edge.
Yeah, giving a very short hit and roll underneath the guard. If it rolls, it will be in the very tippy top of the 12-foot.
I mean, you could also roll open. I think if you rolling under, you're really giving Team Pulley another guard.
Yeah, it looks like they were talking about which one they wanted to do. I think they want to do that roll to the corner, but either one would be a successful shot.
Well, you've just seen, though, Caitlin Pulley elect to go around that guard. I think if you roll under, she's going around again, and your own stone could make it difficult to dig that one out. So I like rolling open here, but see what Jukic does or Lexi Lanigan does with her throw.
And it looks like that's rolling to the corner, but going to roll out, giving that shot again. And this will be Caitlin Pulley taking the shot, looks like they're calling the draw to the top 8-foot.
Lexi Lanigan not happy with herself after hitting and rolling out on her 2. So Caitlin Pulley now has a chance, though, to make a good draw here.
And looks like it was curling real nice on this line coming down with Jeff's shot.
Yeah, certainly it'll bury here. We've seen rocks bury throughout this week, so certainly an opportunity to bury one. I think Caitlin's had, she's had one crack to do this. Jeff had a crack at it. Now she does. So, and a great shot brings a steal and possibility of a steal into play, but even an average shot can bring a force into play. So,
yeah, first shot by Caitlin Pulley here in the fourth end. And they're on this one early.
they didn't like the weight out of her hand. They got the brushes down early, but they are dragging it here. Can they drag it far enough?
And it
Line's
looks
getting
like
tight, but can they get it by? It's really close. Really close to by.
and
It is just by.
What a sweep by Jason Scott and Rebecca Andrew to bring that to the
Great
full 8
scrub
foot.
and a great shot. Really did have to scrape by that guard to bury it, and they did.
Yeah, and that was an end-to-end full-out sweep for that pair.
Pillar to post. They got it there. Well done.
Yeah.
They knew it was light out of her hand. You almost have to throw it. You almost had to throw it that way to bury it.
Yeah, and that's the thing with making some of those delicate shots. If you're throwing it without sweeping, you might not be able to get that. Might not be able to get that crack at the end or get those full draw underneath.
Jukic trying to run back.
And looking real close.
There it
And
is.
is going to grab it. A really nice run back by Andy Jukic. So 2 nice shots in a row from Caitlin Pulley and Andy Jukic.
It's their responsibility.
So now Caitlin will have an opportunity to do the same thing.
But without the offset, so right to the center, right on the top of the forefoot. Looks like they're going to switch turns, which I'm a little surprised about.
Yeah, I think they know. I think they know it both ways. It does seem like the guard's a little different position than it was in the last one. So big shot here with a looming score of 2 for Jukic if this isn't made well. They're discussing it at the hack end. Caitlin's discussing it with her front end, wondering, I imagine they're questioning whether they play this to hit. There they go. They're going to look at, do they play that hit?
Yeah, and it's like we were talking about before. Obviously, that takes away the chance of a 2. Haven't really gone out that way, and I'd say it's more likely than not that getting the line right is going to be the biggest challenge there.
I think both these teams might end up a little time challenged. There's been a few long discussions.
Yeah, I was wondering the
Can't
same.
see the clock, but they're at least they're quite a bit behind the game being played on sheet D.
Yeah, they're starting the 5th end now after cleaning the sheet and everything. So, in the 4th end break, we'll take a look at the time clocks and give you an update on that.
So it looks as though Caitlin Pulley is going to play this takeout on the rock belonging to Jukic Rink, just biting the 12-foot. Biggest challenge, she's not going to know the ice that well. They also have to watch how that rock comes off the sideboard there if they're playing a roll.
Absolutely,
It's right in there.
It's only a few inches off that board. We're not on the high competitive ice with lots of room on the side, so our the boards are pretty much right edge to edge with the stone there on the edge of the 12-foot.
Yeah, it's not the full WCF width, which most clubs don't have, especially clubs that are built in an earlier era. I know
Big
mine
shot.
doesn't.
Big shot for
It's close,
Caitlin
though.
Pulley.
Now they're trying to make it curl. Well, now they think it's pretty close. Now it must be close. I just have
on
to
and
watch
off.
how that comes off there.
And it's
Oh.
gonna flash it on the. Didn't quite get there. So an open draw to the paint for Andy Jukic to try and grab a 2 going into the 4th end break.
I think maybe just too much guesswork on the ice there. I feel like Caitlin threw that one well.
Yeah, it wasn't like they pounded it too much, or it wasn't that, but it was, it needed every inch of push over to the corner.
Well, at one point they were on it to hold it straight, though. So
Yeah.
I'm not, certainly you're against the middle board. It's not really a place you love throwing a stone. Jukic with a draw for 2, though.
Yeah, taking the outturn line, any part of the paint.
Brusher's just keeping this one clean. This is one you want to put right on the lid for your skip, just to give them confidence. That's close to where it's going to be.
And a real nice shot from Andy Jukic, and they're going to go up 5-2 going into the break. And we're going to take a quick break here at the Broadcast Center at the Rochester Curling Club. And we'll be back in a few minutes with the fifth end of Team Poli versus Team Chukic in the semifinals of the USA Mixed National Championships.
Will you be at 21 still?
Yes, towards the end of the week, though. a stream in Stevens Point, unfortunately, but
That's what I heard.
we'd like to stream every event.
Oh gosh, that's great for us.
Yeah, well, we'd like to.
All right, and we're back with the fifth end of Team Pulley from New York versus Team Jukic from Minnesota. Team Jukic up 5-2 going into the fifth end. And just before the break, we were talking about the time clock. Looks like Team Pulley is running a little low. Not hugely low. They're at 14 minutes, and Team Jukic at 15 and a half, a little bit ahead of pace.
Oh, so they'll be comfortable with that. It just was just intuition from over here that apparently wasn't right. So you got to get the real numbers. So
Yeah.
they're both pretty comfortable, and neither of them have used a timeout either. So, but Jukic, after missing that peel out for the blank end in the third end, comes back with 2 in the fourth. And now, as we've mentioned before, as Hammer and 6, we'll have Hammer if things go according to plan, and 6 and 8, 2 hammers to 2, but he'll have it in the last end.
Yeah, so at this point we're looking at trying to catch the angle of the stone here. Yeah, first stone in the house, so putting up a nice guard.
It's another one where it's in the top 12. If that was a little deeper, they'd probably be. I didn't watch to see the other one was just a bit of sweeper error where it left a little higher than they wanted it. Looks like the ice is maybe a little tricky at times when it comes to judging draw weight. We've seen teams fooled on a couple of shots, not much, but a little bit.
Well, we also saw, I think, after the break and the mopping, that the speed tends to go up by a few feet as well, right?
Yeah, so they're
Pretty
playing the top there, maybe just a fraction light. It bounces off. Almost bounced off far enough to choke off that corner guard, but I like this call here. Caitlin Pulley is going to go around with the intern. Well, she was. Now they're going to look at 2 stones in the front of the rings.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to try to play the hit and roll underneath. Maybe go under it a little bit, but it looks like they're trying to hit and roll just underneath the guard. Try to clear out the center a little bit.
So obviously down 5-2 with 4 ends to play. The pressure's on the Pulley rink here. They're going to have to make tough shots. That's the nature of coming from behind. They'll have harder shots to make, but to manufacture the points they need. But they certainly can. Jason Scott had another solid game.
Yeah, we'll see if he can catch the right angle on this hit and roll, and it looks like it's going to hit the inside, roll to the other side of the Jukic stone.
I'm sure Jukic will quickly go up to hit that.
Is that one? It looks like that one is in the house.
I think it is in.
Yeah, it looks like it's just biting the top 12 over there.
He can't peel the corner guard at this point with the 5 rock rule, so he's going to hit the one in the rings.
Yeah, it looks like you might want a little bit of roll here.
Well, you just probably don't want to leave them staggered, but
Just off nose on the outside. Just a little drift, not bad.
I think the Pulley rink needs to start using this corner guard, maybe even without hitting rolls.
Yeah, no, the top stone, even though they're controlling the top of the 12 on that side of the center line, might just be a little bit easier to get one in the right spot by drawing underneath.
Yeah, and if you weren't down 3, you could, I think, playing the hit and roll is a little more of an easier call to make, but you're down 3, so you're going to have to manufacture.
Yeah, some extra stones in play aren't necessarily, even though they're not beneficial to you, the ability to get one stone where you want it is really important right now.
I mean, the other issue is just that hit and rolls have been difficult for both teams. I mean, it just seems like both teams are struggling to make these hits and rolls, and now Andy Jukic will take on this peel and leave the Pulley rink without much to work with.
And we just had a beautiful double by Evan Workin here over on sheet D.
Evan Workin is lighting it up over there. The little bit I glance over, He's
Yeah.
made a couple of. He made a big crosshouse roll, a big crosshouse double there over top of his own.
Looks like the team's been very sharp all game, so a lot of really precision angles on all their hits.
There is less precision as Mellinger slides by in his attempted peel. Just as I was about to talk about how impressed I've been with his ability to throw up weight.
Yeah, and as soon as you thought it, Dean.
Well, I have been, but he looks like maybe he just set that one back a fraction.
Now, I've seen him play a few games already this event and has been a very strong hitter on a lot of shots. But this does leave the chance for Rebecca Andrew to do that draw into the corner we were just talking about a moment ago.
Definitely a break here for Team Pulley because now they have something to work with. There was a chance there they'd have nothing to work with in this end, but now Andrew can make this draw.
Yeah, waiting for this one to curl, and it looks like it's starting to go. But Jeff Pulley trying to do a little bit of a push to bring that over.
Doesn't matter if it's deep here. The more you can bury it, the better. I think it's partially buried, but looks like it's accessible with board or hack.
Yeah, the kind of shot where obviously we'd love to take out that stone. If you get a little over curl, not the worst thing in the world here. But Lexi Lanigan taking on the lightweight hit on the stone in the corner of the forefoot.
Must be close. They're sweeping it to hold it straight right now.
Yeah, and that's most of the way open, so.
Well, thrown did roll out, but it's not the end of the world to roll out there. Now we'll see if Caitlin tightens up the ice a little bit here for Jeff Pulley as he tries the same come around.
Yeah, and based on releases, I would imagine that they might call about the same ice and see if this one curls just a little bit more on its own.
Jeff's release is definitely softer than Rebecca's, but they're on it for weight, I think, early.
Yeah,
weight must be close.
Yeah, they're coming a little on and off on this. And it is curling significantly more. Looking like...
certainly tighter to the guard now. Can they bury it? Need to get it as deep as they can now.
And there they go. And a really nice shot by Jeff Pulley on that one. They got the line just about right.
Andy Jukic thinks he can still dig it out. So, probably with hack.
Yeah, dropping the weight a little bit from the last one. Yeah, just doing a little adjustment on the line call. Yeah, a little delicate hack weight hit here for Lexi Lanigan with her second.
On it for line. Close to the guard. They're flirting with it, and I think they're on it. Now it's a question of where does she roll. So, now opportunity for two presents itself for Team Pulley based on one good come around.
Yeah, and that was a lot better lineup than the one before it, and makes that shot a lot more challenging. So
now they can start to work towards a three. They bury one here. Jukic probably hits the open one. He has a mistake. He can bury another one. So, see if Jeff Pulley can match that out-turn come around with this in-turn come around.
Yeah, it looks like they're taking about the same line on the intern side. And they're on it right away. And looks like it's got plenty of line, needs to move.
I think it also has plenty of weight at this point, but they...
Yeah, they're starting to push it a little bit. Yeah, not bad. Looks like it is just a little open.
It's like Jukic thinks he can see enough of it. He's lining up a double, I think, here. He might just be trying to hit as much as he can see behind the guard.
Yeah, and at that point, it is if you left any of it open, and it was high, there was going to be a double opportunity there. Yeah, big shot by Andy Jukic to try and double these two out.
Sarah Lehman waving them off early. Now they're trying to work this one over.
And we're going to flash that one on the inside.
Now the 3 in play.
And put another one right underneath that Minnesota stone. Only risk there is, depending on where it's lined up, if the run back on their own stone could create a double or more.
Yeah, I mean, down 3, you're going to have to leave something like that. Then, the nice thing if you're team pulley is you're leaving the run back's a bit of an all-in shot, even though the rocks are relatively short.
For sure.
Could go around everything here. Could go around right to the back. I doubt Andy Jukic would take on that freeze.
Yeah,
I don't know exactly where they're going to put this, but you could wrap around all those stones, including your own in the top 8.
That's an interesting call, Dean, because it's by putting another one just underneath that Minnesota stone, it's a lot easier to catch something. By going underneath, you could have him try for that double again. Yeah,
the double he just missed, but even if he makes that double, if you've got one in the back, you should get 2.
Yeah, it's almost a guaranteed open hit for 2 at that point if you make that.
Jeff Pulley wasn't very tight to the guard, so I think Caitlin thinks she can bury more of this here. So, rock on the way. They might have been a little impatient on the last one, so they're trying to hold off here.
And it looks like this one's running a bit.
This one has some curling to do. Now they're going to play to the back.
Yep, good adjustment. Let's see where
they don't want to do is leave it right next to it. Uh-oh.
And they did.
So that looks like it leaves. I don't know if I can't tell from this angle if there's a triple there. There's certainly a fairly routine double, I think.
Yeah, we'll get a look at it in a second. And it looks like to make the double, it looks like you'd be hitting that just on the, pretty much nose, maybe a little on the low side.
It's not a super easy double. They have to flirt with the guard a little bit to make the double. And
yeah, I'm not sure I see a triple though.
No, I don't see a triple, and he's just throwing one that he didn't love. So he does have room though. There's definitely room around the blue stone in the top of the 12, or just outside the 12-foot.
Yeah, and the only thing about it is really if you hit this, hit that red on the nose or pretty close to it, you're really going to leave your stone high. Unless it's a triple, then there should be a draw for 2.
Yeah, Jukic is perfectly comfortable at this point giving up that. He needs to not also hit it too thick and leave a draw for 3. Or too thin, I mean.
On it all the way down.
There you go. That's what I just mentioned right there. Hits it too thick. Now it's a draw for 3.
Yeah, draw to the paint for 3.
It was like edge of 4-foot.
It was, that's a challenge. You're trying to throw that up weight and get close to the guard. And even though you're throwing it hard, if you hit it thin like that, there's a chance it'll stick around. So now a big opportunity for Team Pulley to tie the game up here in the 5th end.
Yeah, big swing. Really well played in by Team Pulley so far.
And it slides back.
Important shot. It's a routine one, but you need this.
Last shot in the 5th end by Caitlin Pulley coming out. And no panic by the sweepers. Playing it with a backer.
Looks to be pretty good. Coming up to their own stone. So there it is, a score of 3 for Team Pulley. That makes it 5-5 after 5 ends. And the crowd here at the Rochester Curling Club obviously cheering for their team. They like it.
Yeah, very appreciative. And it's going into the 6th end. So Team Jukic will have 2 hammers coming out tied. So hammer in the 6th. And see if they can take the lead back here on Sheet B in the semifinals of the USA Mixed Nationals. While we're waiting for our game to start back up on Sheet B, I'll give you a little update on Sheet C, looks like Brundage has taken 1 in the 5th end, and coming down on the 6th end right now with Team Working with the Hammer up 3-1. Going for run back, and yeah, they've really been on fire in this game.
I've rarely seen a mixed fours team, stuff as many runbacks as they have in these last few ends.
Yeah, I was watching a couple shots earlier where, they were lining up the angles and they were hitting everything I saw.
I mean, Rachel Workin made a run back on her first, and then she makes another angle run to stuff it right behind the red guard. So,
yeah,
great curling there.
Yeah, they're on a tear right now. So, really controlling that game. And
well, it's a well-played game by both teams. I mean, Team Brundage is playing well, too. They're just, they're battling a team that's making everything.
Absolutely.
Jason Scott will get things started again. Certainly new life here for Team Pulley.
Yeah, that's a big mental shift as well to grab that 3.
Couple of shots that I'm sure Mike Jukic would like back. That one and when he tried to peel out for the blank.
Yeah, a couple
big really well.
A couple big weights by Andy there, and just a little bit off, just a couple inches.
That last one was tougher, a lot tougher than it looked. I mean, he moved both stones. He just needed to come up another couple inches or inch. He'll ask for the corner guard now. It's important for Team Jukic to reset now and realize that they're in a tie game, but they have Hammer in 6 and 8.
Yeah, it's one of the most important parts about curling is when those bad ends happen is to, you have to shake it off a little bit and move on, because it's all about keeping within yourself and making the shots coming out. So second shot for Jason Scott. Looks like they are calling the high guard on his second, trying to play that just over the hog line on the center. Waiting for this one to curl. A little bit offset, but does get to the right depth.
Yeah, Jason's done about everything that you can ask for out of your lead so far.
Yeah, has been definitely in the power position on a lot of sweeps as well. Been very effective out there. So Team Jukic looking to draw underneath here.
Got a couple of guards to navigate, but if they get relatively close to the high guard, that's the key here. Get relatively close to the high guard.
Actually, I think they might be calling the tick. Certainly what's going to happen.
Oh, yeah, they did call the tick.
And it's a nice call, and it looks like they threw it perfectly.
One went over pretty close to the sideline. Caitlin gave up on it pretty quickly, but I don't think she could have got it out anyways. But
yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I mean, that got really close. It's only a few inches off of the line. But a really nice successful tick there. We were talking about the tick shot a little bit last night. I know in the World Championships they've been playing with the no tick rule through most of the game. So one of the first ones I've seen so far this tournament, at least on the sheets I've been calling.
Yeah, not at the most traditional time in an end after you put up the corner guard, but there'll still be lots of guards in play here. Now, though, you can play a straight peel if you want.
And it looks
I think he's going to draw. I think Andy Jukic will elect to draw under.
Yeah, different game now. Tied, trying to put some pressure on and get into the 4-foot first.
Yeah, I think you really do have to adjust your mindset here for the Jukic team. Look to score 2 here. Even just scoring here in 6 is big for Jukic. Even if it's just a single, it's important to score.
Yeah, important to score so they can, hopefully force in the 7th and take the Hammer into the 8th.
Lots of guards.
Yeah, it looks like a timeout over on sheet D. Team Brundage taking a timeout to take a look at the setup over here right now.
Ryan Mellinger wrecks on the guard. Now there's a lot to work with for Team Pulley here.
Absolutely, lots of guards up front and double centers. So if they do get underneath towards the center line, there'll be a lot to work through to get to that stone. And Team Pulley also has another one that they could play on the intern side.
Hard to get it to swing. He really is predictable.
So on for line with Jason Scott trying to sweep this one back.
Line looks good if they can get it
Really
by.
close.
It's really good.
Looks
now,
great.
Can they get it close enough? Great shot.
Real
Love
nice shot to the top 8 foot.
Love that. Maybe another foot deeper, but good shot.
Yeah, now it's like we talked about. Now it's cleanup time. Would love to grab a couple of these here.
Yeah, the double peel. You might be able to get some action with your blue onto the red as well. So I think he's looking at the double run. If you don't get the double run, you should get some kind of peel out of it.
Yeah, upweight for Mellinger here.
Oh, the coach. Okay, what's the coach got to say?
And gonna take. Oh, just missed the one in
Makes
the house.
a double peel though. So certainly better than it was for Team Jukic. But Pulley continues to apply pressure here. Caitlin and her team.
Yeah, just over a 6-second peel on that one, Dean.
Yeah, it was thrown hard.
Yeah, it's a really nice shot, but opportunity to keep the pressure on here.
See another double guard situation after this. Although they haven't laid a brush to this one yet.
Yeah, it looks to be sliding a little bit deep.
Just don't want to queue up a double here.
Yeah, you want to keep this one. If it's going to be that close, it needs to be on the edge, and it is.
Ooh, that's a relatively routine double peel.
Yeah, at that point, going that deep, if you put it right on the nose, it was basically a direct run. You hit anything, and it's going to the paint.
So is this Lexi throwing now?
So after the timeout, over on sheet D, Team Brundage is looking to do a little draw behind a couple staggered working stones.
Jed trying to draw behind 2 staggered blue stones, and he does. Great shot.
Yeah, dramatic shot by Jed Brundage there, going all the way down. And
Workin may have a little slash. He might have a slash for 3, but it's not. He's trying to see if he's lining it up to see if he sees enough of that stone. Meanwhile, Pulley will try to replace those staggered guards with one guard.
Yeah, based on the way where that ended up, it was exactly like we were talking about it. Although it did roll out instead of staying there, so leaving the center pretty wide open right now. So looking for that tight 2 guard, right in line with their stone in the top 8 foot.
Folks, if anybody has anything on this back table over here, if you can take it off, I'd appreciate it. Anything on this back
Now
table?
they're trying to make this one curl to cover enough.
Hey, folks, anything on this back
And
table?
really close.
Take it off.
Should be enough. There's that high corner guard to navigate as well. I think
That might be all working.
Jukic will take on this run back.
Yep, looks like trying to do it a little over the top and roll towards the corner.
The positive thing for Jukic at this point is that the shot stone is only in the touching the 8 foot. So
Yeah, big shot by Lexi Lanigan here, trying to hit this double. And moved it to the corner underneath.
stuffs it under the corner though. That's now shot rocked, which takes and eliminates probably the blue stone belonging to Jukic on the other side.
Yeah, a bit of a tough shot that Evan Workin just tried to take on a little bit of a...
Tried a slash for 3 and probably the game after Brundage made a shot to save the game by drawing around 2 stones on the top of the 4 foot. A huge draw from Brundage.
Yeah, wreck on the guard, and Team Brundage takes a steal in the 6th, and is now down 3-2 without the hammer.
Workin's team was making everything through that end run backs, but both teams made a lot of shots.
Swing the other way.
So Caitlin Pulley with her first here in the 6th end, trying to draw underneath the Minnesota guard.
What's really comfortable for Caitlin now, the way that Redstone is behind all those corner guards, is the possibility of giving up an easy 2 is definitely gone for Jukic, or getting an easy 2.
And the
Now is this one going to
beautiful.
curl, and now can they drag it far enough and work it over enough? Scott working at it hard.
And that's
Another
pretty
good
much
shot
perfect.
from Caitlin Pulley.
Pretty much perfect at the just in the corner, top left corner of the 4-foot, fully under guard, and definitely going for the run back here for Andy Jukic.
Well, they're talking about the run. I mean, certainly they have options with that run back. You might clip either of those red stones, and it could be a fairly positive outcome.
Looks like it's pretty much right on the nose. You're throwing this with a lot of pace.
Yeah, I mean, if they cross it and he could run it into the redstone in the top of the 12-foot too, and might have that wouldn't be the worst outcome. So there's a couple of, certainly he's trying to make it, stuff it behind, but the worst thing would be if he's throwing the out turn here, which I think he is.
Yeah, it does look that way.
I'm not sure. Let's see.
For that icing thing.
Yeah, he's throwing the out turn. So the worst thing here would be to hit it on the high side.
Oh, on it all the way.
And curl too much.
Oh. And
So
it
he does clip the one that's in the ring. Just clipped it. Almost had the really unlucky scenario of punching it right through. But good shot. He clips the one out of the 4-foot.
Definitely needed to move one, but it did. His shot did roll to the center line, now giving the opportunity to draw under the center into the 4-foot.
Well, Caitlin needs to make the same shot she made on her first, but now with the out turn. So if she's in the top 8-foot here, it's not terrible either.
No,
Just
absolutely.
biting the 8-foot would not be would make things difficult.
Yeah, taking a look at the position of their stone that's on the top 8-foot position over near the edge. Looks like there's very little of that open. So
No, there's the reality is there's no good draw path for Andy Jukic. If Caitlin Pulley puts this anywhere behind that guard, even half buried might be the best, just touching the 8-foot. But there's no in-turn draw path that's natural. Andy Jukic will be forced to go wide with the in-turn. Might actually have to entertain coming in off his own, but he's going to have to go wide with the in-turn the way those staggered blue guards are. Worst thing to do would be to leave this one open.
And it looks like they're waiting for this one to curl right now. And it's starting to go.
Now Rebecca Anner on the inside. They don't want to leave this open and too deep.
And it is pretty open, leaving a double for 2.
That would have been they could have probably gotten off that if it wasn't going to bury and left it higher.
Yeah, it's a bit of a in-between sweep there, and ends up with a pretty short double for Andy Jukic to try and get a 2 here in the 6th end.
Yeah, you can see enough. He's hits it anywhere in the broom side of the stone. He has good chance of the double. He hits it even too thick. He probably gets 1. He's looking at it in the hack though. Might look a little different from the far end.
Yeah, probably trying to decide on what turn he's going to throw as well.
Well, I think he's got to throw the out turn.
Got to throw the out.
Yeah.
Good, better action on the stone coming off.
Better action the way those staggered guards are. I don't see how he can, with the in-turn, you'd have to get so tight to that blue stone just off the center line.
And Lexi Lanigan on this one early.
Calling hard for it. Uh-oh. And there
And
it is.
Caught it perfect for a 2.
Well swept, gets by the guard, and Jukic turns what could have been a disastrous end into a 2, and they'll take good comeback in that end for him, and they'll take a 2-point lead into the 7th end.
Yeah, it's going to be 7-5. Team Pulley with the hammer in the 7th coming up.
Such a huge end to score in there, the 6th for Jukic. Even if they just scored 1, they'd be in control of the game, but 2 is a big number to put up in 6.
Yeah, and it's just that little misstep there with Caitlin Pulley's last, leaving that open and leaving that fairly routine double for Andy Jukic to hit.
Yeah, they got sort of caught in between. They were trying to make a shot. That's what happens. They're trying to make the shot that was called, try to make it well. But leaving that a little higher might have been a better outcome. But those are tough when they're coming in. You want to commit to making the shot.
Absolutely. Yeah, and while they're in the break going into the 7th, setup happening here over on sheet D as well. So with Team Brundage down 3-2, they're trying to set up in the center right now. Just put up a center guard, and they also have one in the back of the 4-foot and just into the back gate. And as we talked about, Team Workin is generally really hitting these lines perfect. Just ran a run-back double on the guard and took out the stone that was in the back 8-foot.
Yeah, I've seen Jordan Brown and Rachel Workin both make a ton of runbacks in that game. But Brundage they're playing great too.
Absolutely. Seems to be a very well-played game so far. And Sarah Lehman with her first. Now trying to, they would love, obviously playing for the force here to try to have the hammer up 1 going in the 8th end.
Yeah, it's another one. They got that one a little deeper than some of the other ones. Caitlin looks as though she might be playing for the blank. Yes. Rock goes in the rings. Her team feels better about coming home down 2 with hammer than, playing hard for the deuce here and maybe coming home tied.
Kind of goes to your team's comfort zone and what your mentality is going into those ends.
Well, I hate to mention analytics, but I think the analytics would say this is the right way to play this. You're more likely, in the last end, to have that going home tied without hammer is your chances of winning are lowest.
Yeah, and I think there's also something to be said for when you don't have a choice, that you're basically selling out for a big end. And sometimes those opportunities can come through when that's what you have to do. You're really playing for those, and you're willing to take more risks at that point.
Sarah Lehman will get enough of this stone to move it out or not.
Yeah, it looks like it is biting in the back of the 12-foot.
So now, though, Caitlin Pulley has a decision time.
Yeah, looks like they're going to try and put a tight 3-corner or move it into the house.
They're going to split the rings here. They could get the 2 here. It's a long way to go to get 2 with only 1 rock in play, but they could play it conservatively, and at worst they get the blank out of it. If they play the corner guard, they're in for trying to score 2 or more here in this end.
Yeah, because if they did end up getting their 2 or even 3 here in the 7th, they'll be either tied or up 1 without the hammer, and I'm sure Team Jukic would be still content with that. So they are going to split the house and bring this as far deep as they can. So right on the tee line.
Jukic will try to group these stones. Looked briefly at the slash double, but I think the hitting and rolling and starting to group stones for an easier double later in the end.
Yeah, otherwise
Yeah, so Ryan Mellinger with his first here, trying to do a little bit of roll. And they're on it now. Just a little move.
Oh, that's Caitlin's. That's Caitlin.
So now trying to roll back to the corner a little bit.
She did, but now it's 1-1.
Rebecca Andrew coming up here in the 7th.
She's not going to stand up as long.
Well, she did against us twice.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Yes.
You can make them stand up, but these guys hit some.
So everybody off this one right now.
I think she's really defending.
Just a little bit of queen.
Nice weight, gave it a chance. That'll be dead nose. Jukic will try to roll across again in front of that red stone, just at the back of the 12-foot.
Only two have got the ice right after the first one.
When you come around and he's sitting.
Ballinger off it early now. He's asking Lexi Lanigan to try to carve it over.
And a little bit better roll, but still an opportunity for Breck Andrew to hit and roll a little bit back to the corner. Getting a little bit closer now, but if you catch it on the high side, now we're talking like it might wreck in the back.
Yeah, you can roll a little bit wide though, and can roll a little bit open or to the wing without jamming, but certainly don't want to bring a jam into play here. Now it's starting to curl.
And it looks like they're going to roll a little to the center, giving Lexi
we'll
Lanigan
see.
a chance to go for the double here now.
Yeah, they'll take on this double. It's their best chance at it so far.
Yeah, just a little bit high side here. Should get the double in the back. Nice clean release on her stones.
It's curling.
Right on that all the way. Just caught it a little bit low. Now we're going to go to the other wing, try to hit and roll to the out-turn side of the sheet.
Meanwhile, over on sheet D, Evan Workin made a nice come around, but slipped a little bit behind the button. So Jed Brundage will try to sit on top of that.
Which she wasn't expecting.
I see.
Because
This rock's curling now. They're going to take it the other way, I think. No, still just dead. There we go. Now they're
Yeah, got a little roll towards the right-hand side of the sheet from the thrower side.
slash double here now, but certainly available.
Yep, still playing the double. I'm sure they wouldn't mind rolling out to the corner either.
Brundage just welded one on top of the working stone in the button.
Yeah, really nice shot there. Yeah, Mellinger on this one, hard for line again. That one curled a decent amount. It will roll over and trying to see if it's going to stick.
I think it'll still. I think it will be shot, but it's close.
Yeah, we'll take a look at that one in a second. Gives them something
It's
to
not
freeze
shot.
on.
So now they can freeze.
That's a really nice opportunity to split the house and be frozen on a stone.
Let's make sure he wins before we go. If he loses, I don't want to talk.
So with this many stones in play, they're kind of committed to try and go for the two.
Yeah, or even they might catch a break and be able to manufacture three here. But I'm sure we'll see Andy Jukic hit something with his first. Need to work to get this
Yeah, you really need to get
into the rings.
get in the rings and stay on the right side of that
Important to
stone.
It's important to be at least second shot.
Oh, I
don't
can't
think
tell
it
right
is.
now. Yeah.
Now there's an opportunity for Jukic to possibly force. Evan Workin's trying a cross-house double using his own stone after Brundage just welded one onto his that was just to the back of the button behind the guard. He's going to try to come off his own, cross, and pick out the Brundage stone that's just touching the button.
Yeah, pretty big weight over there and trying to catch it. Oh,
Gosh, I think he
Wow.
got one with that.
did get one, went into a little bit of a pocket instead of hitting the stone square. So it looks like it's going to be 4-2 working.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
Not sure yet?
They haven't decided here yet. They're still looking at it.
And a nice shot by Andy Jukic here on our feature sheet. And looks like they are sitting 2 at this point, from what we can tell.
Yeah, so costly miss with that draw. That draw needed to be second shot so that you kept the you keep both the blank and a 2 alive. Now you're fighting to get 2.
And now they're going to try to draw behind that stone that isn't quite shot.
Our chief umpire here, Keith Scott, is measuring the stones on sheet D. It was a heck of a throw by Evan Workin.
Really was.
I think he thought he could get it for 2 if he hit it real clean.
Yeah, looks like he caught it just a hair thin and got underneath the stone he wanted to hit. But a big shot for Caitlin Pulley over on her feature sheet on sheet B, trying to draw behind their stone at the top of the 12-foot.
Weight seems to be close.
Actually looking like it's going to hit.
Now can they get by? Oh, they might just try to chisel the lie 2 here.
Yeah,
I don't know if they're lying 2 yet.
Definitely sitting shot, but there's a pretty wide hole to hit that in, just on the just on the inside of the stone. Looks like I'm going to try to punch it through that hole, roll to the center.
Yeah, he has to be, again, he wants to make sure he's lying 2 after this, or 3.
Yeah, so New York sitting shot, but Jukic sitting 2 and 3 right now.
Dead nose, certainly the force is on.
Yeah, pretty wide hole there, as long as you catch it nose or on the inside. And off this one right now.
Stuffs it.
Did stuff it.
Now there's an opportunity for 2, possibly 3.
Yeah, Jukic a little bit frustrated there. That's definitely the wrong side of the stone to miss, and now an opportunity.
I think.
Have to take a look at it.
I think what Caitlin's thinking, she could hit this stone off the stone probably that's currently just out of the rings, I think, and roll into lie 2. They're going to call a timeout. I can't tell from here if the red stone belonging to Team Pulley at the back is shot, or if the blue stone belonging to Team Jukic is shot, the one that's behind the red in the top of the 12-foot.
Yeah, it's a little tough to tell from the overheads from here.
If the red stone belonging to Pulley in the back is shot rock, there's definitely an opportunity for 3 here.
Yeah, and I think in this position you really need to look at that closely.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you could probably make it off that stone that's just biting the 12-foot. You could make it that way and roll your shooter in. I think that's what they're discussing, but it's definitely there.
Just missed a tick over on sheet D. Tie game with, so it was a 1 for Brundage. It was a great draw by him with his last, and just missed that roll in on his last.
It's been a really well played game. It's just interesting. Workin scored 2, 3, 4. They scored singles, and now Brundage has scored singles in 5, 6, 7. So
yeah, really tight game, 3-3. The lead for Team Workin just missed the tick by, I'd say, an inch. It just hit the board. A really nice throw, but just a touch thin.
Meanwhile, I'd say this is a game kind of on the line here for. There is a shot, I believe, here for 3, or it looks like they're lying 1, and they're going to just play the draw for 2.
Yep, need to catch the 8-foot on this one.
They're on it early. They do.
Yeah, on it real early.
On it early, keeping this moving
all the way.
I think they can get it there.
Yep, end-to-end sweep.
It's going to need all of it, though. Pulley's going to come out and replace Jason Scott. They get that there. So it'll be 2 for Pulley.
So it's going to be a
Now
tight, it's going to be a tight game, 7-7 going into the last end.
Yeah, so 7-7, but Jukic with the hammer. They certainly probably feel like they've missed a few opportunities to put this game away, but they have a chance here now. They've played. Both teams have played well, and then both teams have had a couple of untimely misses.
Yeah, so this, the start of this end is going to be really critical for Team Pulley. Jason Scott, who's had a very good, every game I've seen him play, has been throwing some great guard stones, trying to get a couple guards up and try to set
see
up.
what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. So over
Same scenario on both sheets. Tie games playing 8 on both sheets. So
team working with the hammer over on sheet D, and a nice little tap with the shot that was on the top forefoot.
So the first tick shot.
Yes.
Now Brundage trying to put another one in and catch the working stone on the inside.
he's trying to get to dead nose with it. Cameron Rittenauer, and he does.
Beautiful shot. Just tapped through the house. Brundage sitting 2.
One long guard up.
Fans of both teams.
And it looks like starting the run back fest. Trying to move a couple stones on sheet D.
I think he thinks he can get to the rock in the rings, but he makes the peel. I think it was an either or. He thought he could maybe get to the rock in the rings.
Yeah, and shifting back to the start of this end, Jason Scott putting a stone on the center line. Nice 2 guard there.
Andy Jukic asking for the tick.
Yep, and in this scenario, tied in the 8th end, makes a lot of sense. Trying to tap this as far over to the wings without touching the boards as they can.
We saw Sarah Lehman make a good one earlier.
That's a deep one.
I don't think
So trying to move this one over, Lexi Lanigan with the sweep. And nice sweep, but that is going to touch the boards, and that is coming back.
I'm not sure why they were sweeping to move it over.
Yeah, they were early and then kind of changed directions partway down.
Seems like they needed just to hit that one thinner. So one guard stays up, and
Second one coming for Jason Scott. Looks like trying to call for the tight guard this time, just outside the house.
this one's okay if it's in the rings as long as he's buried. If it can be in the top 12 as long as he's buried.
Yeah, definitely looking to get it fully buried on this second shot. And over on sheet D, looking for runbacks right now. And made double,
Yeah, I don't think that's.
leaving their own at the team working, leaving their own stone as a 1.5, 2 guard. And
Yeah,
Brundage-
Jordan Brown made another run back there, but does leave his centerline guard up. Just did pick out the rock that was in the top of the forefoot that Jed will now try to replace over there. Now we've got 2 guards up here in our game. I think Andy Jukic, with the position of those 2, thinking a double peel is definitely something he'll be entertaining in the future. So he's going to draw to the wing with Sarah Lehman's second stone.
Trying to put up this, counted stone in the corner of the 12-foot.
We got the line back.
Sweeping hard to make sure it gets in the house.
Looks like that's going to get there, I think, just into
Yeah.
the rings. Well swept.
Yeah.
Caitlin with a couple options here. She's considered coming around the staggered guards with the guard or putting up a high guard, which is what they've elected to do, to protect those 2 staggered guards.
Yep, and they've seen now this those guards come down this line for both of Jason's first 2 stones. So trying to leave this one just over the hog line.
Left that cutting off that.
Draw's going to be tough for that one.
Where do you put the next one?
Swaying to curl a little bit. Wade's looking real nice. And a nice shot by Rebecca Andrew with her first, putting up a high guard.
We'll see Ryan Mellinger try to get all these stones moving, though. It's a tough high guard to throw. You had to trying to create as much separation as you can.
While guaranteeing that you get it over the hog line.
Yeah, she would probably like that one a foot and a half higher, but Mellinger would probably take on the same shot.
And over on sheet D, a beautiful shot behind their own guard. Brundage sitting two.
And that was Isabella Hagenbach, and really made a great shot to top of the button behind the centerline guard, their own centerline guard.
And Mellinger peels over the top, not grabbing any of the two other guards. So at this point, Caitlin Pulley going to call for the repeat with Rebecca Andrews' shot, trying to leave this as high as possible on the center line.
Jed Brundage now with a peel from Rachel Workin. Now Brundage in a good position to steal on sheet D. He's got a rock in the top of the button, splitting the center line, and a rock just in the back of the forefoot.
Yeah, the only way their Team Workin's getting out of this now is when they play one of these runbacks to get it to touch a stone in the forefoot. And a great shot by Rebecca Andrew over on sheet B, our feature sheet.
Yeah, definitely got more separation this time. They're going to try to get action on those staggered stones, even if it means they'll probably end up leaving their own shot as a guard, but they'd rather get these staggered guards out of there. It's close.
And does catch one of the back guards.
And rolls a shooter, so much better than it was for Team Jukic.
So still a center guard up for Team Pulley. And with Jeff Pulley's first shot, they're going to go ahead and draw behind that guard.
Playing the out turn.
Seem to be very comfortable with that line right now. Having now thrown it for the first 4 shots in the end. And they're on it for weight.
Working hard to get it by. Now the line doesn't look bad from here. Now can they drag it far enough? Now, how far can they drag it? Andrews goes inside. They need to get it further.
Oh, just biting the top 12. Jukic sitting shot and now trying to run that back and split it out and try to leave a fully open house.
I mean, his first objective here is to make sure they make the peel, but he'd love to get some action on the redstone and the rings as well. Peel 1 at least.
Big shot by Lexi Lanigan on early for line. Looks like it and it did grab it, leaving their own stone out front.
Still a guard for Team Pulley to work with, but a good shot by Lexi Lanigan.
Yeah, better position with their stone out front versus Team Pulley's. And giving Jeff a chance to draw behind and get this in the position they want it to be.
Evan Workin, meanwhile, tried a short run back with his first over curling, and he is going to, if Jed Brundage replaces that guard, Evan Workin will be hard-pressed to find a shot that lets him score.
And it looks like the line and weight on this one is a lot better from Jeff Pulley.
I think it looks a little heavy right now. It does need to curl. Well, it's close. Now, can they drag it and curl it, make it curl a little more?
And it looks real nice just on the full 4-foot edge of the button. It's a real nice shot by Jeff Pulley.
Shot by Jeff Pulley, and now Lexi Lanigan will try this straight run. Big shot here.
Nice shot on her first to open things up. Now trying the straight run. And cleaning all the way down, and just going to peel that one over the top.
Straight peel, so now Pulley would
and a precision shot by Jed Brundage with his last to guard shot Stone over on sheet D. So really hard spot here.
well working over here. He can run in that guard and try to make a triple for the blank the end, go the extra. That's probably the shot he has.
Do you think there's the large angle raise there?
Yeah, he can play that long angle with his own, but it's tough to stick it to count. But he could play that. That's the other option.
Kind of have to really stick it, though. It has to almost move none. But Caitlin Pulley here trying to guard shot Stone just on the edge of the button.
Couple of exciting finishes here in this game.
Yeah, tie games, and both teams without the hammer controlling the play right now.
Pulley looking to make this guard. They haven't touched it much. Now they're trying to get it to curl a little bit.
Really needs to curl, get over the center line, and cover that Stone. Jason Scott with a big push, getting it in position to cover at least most of that Stone.
Enough that Jukic will take on the run back rather than try to dig that one out. Take on the run back. Lots of exciting action here in this last end.
Absolutely. Yeah, so Andy Jukic with his first here in the last end.
I'm not exactly sure what Evan Workin has settled on over here.
Yeah, I'm not
no
sure.
No one can
either.
see it, but I'm not really sure what. I don't think he can get.
It's fully buried, and it's a fairly tight guard. I don't think he can get to the nose.
He's in the hack now, questioning his call, I think, and he sees it from the other end.
I think he's going to end up running back.
Jukic trying the run back.
Really close, just over the top.
Wow. So now, Caitlin Pulley with another guard, and will force Jukic to draw the lid for the win.
Yeah, really.
He will still have the lid available. He should.
Yeah, and we'll see where this one ends up. They want this one just outside the house. What they don't want to do is slide too deep. There could be an opportunity to double with the shot they have in the corner of the 12-foot.
Audio update from sheet 2 is Workin's trying this tap back through his stagger port, and he's missed it already. He knows he's missed it, and that's going to be that game. He's not happy about it, but that'll be a win for Team Brundage. That'll be a win for Team Brundage in an exciting game that was all Workin early and all Brundage late. So Jed Brundage and his team of Isabella Hagenbaugh, Cameron Rittenauer, and May Hagenbaugh, they'll head to the final. And now we're going to find out who they play.
Yeah, so big shot here for Caitlin Pulley with her last in the 8th. Need to get this position perfect, just on the other side of the center line.
Looks close.
Rebecca Andrew, sweeping it hard to not over curl it. It's sliding.
No, now it seems to be pretty good. They don't want to show them too much of that.
Show just a little bit, I think.
I don't think so. I think it's the straight draw. I think the straight draw is probably going to be the shot.
That's a shot to the button for the win.
Mike Jukic is indicating.
Yeah, big shot coming up for Andy
needs
Jukic.
To touch the button. I think this is the shot to play. You have to.
Ooh. Oh, I think he's calling the. Is he calling the peel? I think there might be enough open where he's calling the peel.
Well, he could hit and roll out, score one. So
yeah. Let's see where the broom ends up.
Might be able to see just enough of it. He doesn't have to stick a shooter, of course. He's going to have a look at it. Now he's going to come down and talk about it a little more.
Yeah, it's definitely. I think it's peeking out a little bit, but it's no more than what. It's less than a quarter open. That's for sure.
He's settled on the draw.
Yep.
Which is the shot you really have to play. I think one thing he's probably considering, Mike Jukic, because they've had the lead for so much of this game. He hasn't thrown many draws.
Yeah, and this isn't
hits.
Not just to the 4-foot. It has to touch the button.
Touch the button for the win. So some good curling here this afternoon. Now high drama. We've got one team already into the finals. And now here we come with Mike Jukic, last shot.
Pressure shot.
Tie game, eighth end.
Yeah, pressure shot for Andy Jukic here.
Andy Jukic, I'm sorry. Got excited. Let's watch as they bring this in.
All to the sweepers.
Looks close. Uh-oh. Andy Jukic, though, is jumping up to help. That's not a good sign, but maybe. 3 of them going now.
Looking really close.
It's really close. Can they get it there? I don't think it is
It's going to
there.
be short.
And a stirring comeback from Team Pulley for the hometown crowd. So we guarantee a good turnout for the game tonight, Chris.
Absolutely. So a steal by Pulley in the last end, going to win 8-7 over Team Jukic. So we'll have our final tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern here on TESN. Dean and I will be back for that game. We'll have a raucous crowd here at the Rochester Curling Club for the finals of the USA Mixed National Championships. Hope you join us at 7 o'clock tonight. And we're going to take a break in between and get freshened up for an amazing game tonight.
Pretty good drama there.
Wow.
Pretty good curling.
Both teams have won.
wants to come can come. We're not worried about the list. So long as they're vaccinated.